Hey, you've tuned into Math with Mr. C. This time we're doing 19.4. We're studying 4 words which you might have some background knowledge about. Mean, median, mode, and range. If you're already familiar with this, you're going to do awesome. If not, let me take you through it. Please check your homework from 19.3. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. How can you describe a set of data? You can describe it by using these words. The lengths of 5 boa constrictors are shown. Find the mean, median, and mode to describe this set of data. The mean, median, and mode are known as measures of central tendency. So first, the mean. It is the sum, which means adding, of all the data in a set divided by the total number of data values in the set. You can also call it the average. I'm going to talk about why it's called a mean, the way I remember it, later on in the video. So what they did was they added the 5 numbers of the snake's length. They got a total. How did they divide? How did they know to divide by 5? Well, they counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 pieces of information, and they wanted to know if all of them were the same average length, how long would they be? Well, you add all of them together, and if they were all the same length, they would be 69.2. So that's the mean. The median is the middle number in a data set that is arranged in numerical order. I see they put them in order from smallest to biggest, and then they picked the middle one, and that's the median. If there's an even number of values, the median is the average of the 2 middle values. And we have already talked about how to find the average. So for example, on this one, to find the middle, I'm going to cross off the outsides one at a time. And now I see that I have 2 middle numbers. I'm going to find the average of that, so I'm going to add them together, 70 plus 68. And I get 138. And then I'm going to divide that by 2, which means I'm going to find the mean or average of that. And so my median is 69, which is actually ends up being the middle of those 2 numbers, which is the average, with the clue word of beach towel. And last, we have the mode, which I think is super easy. I just remember that the first 2 letters are MO, which is also the most. Whichever one pops up the most is the mode. Here are the vocab notes. For the vocab notes, there are 4 words as we've gone over. Also a range that we haven't talked about yet. You get to choose whether you want to draw the picture in your notes for each, making sure you write the word mean, median, or whatever is in bold, or if you want to write the definition. Please pick whether you want to draw these pictures or the definition, and then go on to the next page in 3, 2, 1. Just like here, please choose whether you want to draw the definition or the picture. Here's example 1. For example 1, we're just taking one data set and we're doing the mean, median, mode, and range of that data set, and that's going to be our example 1. First, I want to talk more about the meaning of the word mean. You know, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people why this is called the mean or the average. Here's a picture that you saw in the vocab notes. So basically, just act like someone has 9 scoops of ice cream, and then 2 other people have 3. Well, that's not fair. That's actually pretty mean. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a knife, and we're going to slice off their extra, and we want to share with the other people so that everyone has the same amount, because that's not mean. We don't want to be mean, so we want to share so that all of them are equal. So just like in this picture, they have way more ice cream here than here. So the mean, so that's pretty mean. So to be not mean, we want to share so they're both equal. So the average of both of these would probably pretty close to the bowl just being flat and not overflowing, because we're going to take that extra and we're going to fill in the other bowl. We're going to take that extra and fill it in. So that's basically what you're doing here. We're sharing blocks until they're all the same. For mode, that's the most, as I said, whatever one appears the most. And median, the first three letters are MED, which is very similar to MID of middle. I'm showing you all the schooling that you will go through in your life. You've gone through kindergarten, and now you're right here in 6th, and on to high school. You'll be a freshman, sophomore, junior, and a senior. If I want to find the middle of your schooling, I'm going to cross off the outsides, and I'm going to keep going, but notice how they're in order. You go through school in order, just like the numbers have to be set up when you find middle. There'd be no way for people to say, you're in middle school, if the numbers aren't in order. They're just random. So I'm going to keep crossing these off to find the middle. Interesting. In 6th grade, you are in the middle of your schooling. You're in, even if it's called elementary school, you're in the middle of your schooling. You have exactly the same amount of years done as you have to go, shown as that we cross them off. In range, I straight up just think about a golfing range. If you've ever been there, they're super fun. And so what they do is this starts at 0, and you hit the ball, and you see how far it goes, and maybe it lands at 225 yards. And that's your range, how far it is from the smallest number to the biggest. So if you started at 10 and you hit it all the way to 200, you'd have to find the difference of 200 to 10 to find out how far you hit it. And you hit it 190 yards. Going back to example 1, let's find out how to add the mean. I know that I'm going to add all of these together and divide by how many there are. So first, I lined up all my numbers and I'm going to add them together. Please add these together and find out what you got. Showing you what I got in 3, 2, 1. Alright, I added them up and I got 85. Now I need to count how many numbers I have so that basically this is all the ice cream scoops, and we're going to evenly split them between all of the people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to have 85 divided by 12. Alright, I think it's like 7. So 12 times 7. That's 14, 84. That's 84 with a remainder of 1. So that's 7. That's so close, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as a mean of 7. I could keep going, but that's pretty much exactly 7. Make sure you have your work right here and adding the numbers together for number 1, and we're moving on to number 2 in 3, 2, 1. Alright, for the median, you have to put them all in order. I remember from middle school, it goes kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. You got to put it all in order. So the way that I do that is I look at the numbers and I look what's the smallest, and I'll put that first, 4. I put it, I cross it off. I look for the next smallest. There's 2 5s. I cross them off and I keep going. Please do that. Showing you in 3, 2, 1. Alright, I lined them up in order. Now I'm going to cross off the outsides one at a time until I find the middle. My median is also 7. Now find the mode. I remember that the mode is whatever appears the most. Which one has the most numbers? There are 3 5s, 2 9s, and 3 8s. There are the same amount of 5s as 8s. Therefore, the mode is 5 and also 8. See, there's 1, 2, 3. There's also 1, 2, 3. Find the range. Oh, I remember that. That's like hit from the smallest to the biggest. I'm going to subtract the biggest, 10 minus the smallest, which is 4. And my range is also 7. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Alright, feel free and use a calculator on these, but I'm going to ask you to try to find number 8, the mean, median, mode, and range by yourself, and come back for the answers. I'm going to show you the answers, And quickly how I did it in 3, 2, 1. I added these all together and I got 649. Next, I'm going to divide by how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to divide this by 9. And I got 72 and 11/100ths. Next, to find the median, I lined them up from smallest to biggest, and I'm going to X them out one at a time until I find my middle number, which is my median. And it's 74. The mode is what appears the most. There is no number that appears more than once, so there's none for the mode. For the range, I'm subtracting my biggest and smallest to find out the distance between them, and that is 28. Moving on to number 2, for example 2. Please try to do these by yourself. Showing you the answers in 3, 2, 1. I added them all together and got 11 and 55/100ths. Now I need to find out how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to divide that by 7. 1.65 is my mean. Alright, I put them in order. I'm going to cross them off one at a time to find my median. And I have 1 and 63/100ths. Mode, which one appears the most? Just like in the last problem, there are no similar numbers, so this is none. The range, the biggest from the smallest, 1.75 minus 1.57, which is 0.18. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Please continue to use your calculator to find the mean, median, and mode and range for each of these. Round your decimal answers to the nearest hundredth, showing you the answers for both in 3, 2, 1. And there are your answers for both problems. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Thank you for watching this video. Please click the link below for the Khan Academy video and practice, and then you may choose one of these two options. You're awesome.